I'm going to get right on this thing. I grew up during the 60s, youngest of 6 kids. My dad worked as a mechanic all his life, so we never were really flush with money. But I never really lacked for anything that I really needed. Of course, my dad, he grew up during the Great Depression, and he knew what hardship was. He used to tell us kids that they were so poor that he had to eat his cereal with a fork and pass the milk on to the next kid. But he knew what was important in life. And a few years before I was born, he scraped up enough money, $50, to buy an acre of land up in West Bolton to build a camp on. Now that first camp was pretty rough. It was just scrounged up lumber and a lot of tar paper. But what I remember about it is it had cardboard ceilings, not sheetrock. Sheetrock cost money, but cardboard, which led to some great entertainment for us kids because we could lay in our bunks at night in the dark with our BB guns and shoot at the sound of the mice running on that cardboard over our heads. This was actually great practice for later on when we got older, because shooting at moving things in the dark by sound was a fair description of opening morning of deer season. But we used to go up to camp all the time. We used to go up in the summer for barbecues and picnics and berry picking and trout fishing. Going to camp in the summer was great, but going to camp in the winter, now, that was an adventure. I remember this one winter Saturday, just my mom and dad and I were going up for a day of snowmobiling. Dad loaded the snowmobiles on the truck the night before. He always liked to get a good early start. And we got up that morning, butt crack of dawn, and it was wicked cold. It was colder than a polar bear's toenails. It was so cold. The wolves were eating the sheep just for the wool. So we all piled into the old GMC pickup there, and he fired it up, and we headed out down the road. About 6-7 miles down the road, my mom says, "I smell something." He says, "Oh, you're always smelling something, woman." We went another mile or two, and she says, "No," she says, "I smell something burning." He says, "There ain't nothing burning." And all of a sudden, he slams on the binders, come to a screeching halt on the side of the road. He bails out, runs to the front of the truck, he pops the hood on it, and this big black whopping cloud of smoke comes billowing out. Seems the night before, when he knew it was going to be wicked cold, he had taken this old pink blanket, been in our family for years and years and years, and he had folded it up and put it over his beloved GMC engine there that he had to keep it warm, and he'd forgotten all about it, and he'd gotten on the exhaust manifold, and it's on fire. Well, he grabs it on the corners, and he's trying to yank it off of there, but it's caught on something, so all he does is he just fans it up and down 4 or 5 times, and he releases this big black billow of smoke every time. It looked like we were trying to send smoke signals to the neighboring tribe or something. He finally gets her loose, and he throws it on the snowbank on the side of the road there. And then my mom and I watched my dad go over and do this little war dance on top of that blanket, trying to snuff it out. And then he gets done doing that, and he looks up and down the road both ways, make sure nobody was watching. And then he jumps back in the truck, and we light out of there like a big-ass bird. And nobody says a word. Not a peep. Well, we went up to camp and had a peach of a day snowmobiling. And when we come back down home there late in the afternoon, we drive by the scene of the crime. That old remnants of that pink blanket laying there, and it's still smoking. We all look at each other, and we just lose it. We just start laughing so hard, I think I had tears running down my leg. As I think back, camp was one of the best gifts that my dad ever gave me. It turned out to be so much more than just a deer camp. But isn't that like a lot of things in our lives that give us more than what we expect? Why, even an old pink blanket that kept us snug and warm when it was nice and new and made us smile and laugh when it was old and tattered and even on fire. Season's greetings, everybody. Thanks for coming.